The Electoral Court has dismissed the ATM's application that there was vote rigging in last year's polls, saying the claims are vague and not supported by evidence. The party had asked the court to declare the May 2024 polls invalid, not free and fair, and to set the results aside. Well, let's unpack this with elections analyst Michael Atkins. Michael, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking to us. What does this ruling mean for public trust in South Africa's electoral system?
Hi, good afternoon, Hugo. Yes, it is important that whenever any claim of rigging or impropriety arises, that these are tested properly. And it is important that we have the Electoral Court. It is important that we go through the processes and that the reasoning of the courts is made open and plain for everybody to see. Now, it's unfortunate in this particular case because there were a few particular concerns raised, but the manner in which it was done was unhelpful. There was nothing there really that the court could latch hold of and say, yes, this proves this problem and this must be fixed and so on and so on. There wasn't a real connection between problems mentioned like the voter management devices having problems, issues with the voting roll, people voting within their voting stations or not. There wasn't a real connection between those issues and the claim that the whole election was invalid.
Mark, I'd like to touch a little bit on the quality of the submission of the ATM, if you will. Now, the court has said that the ATM's written submissions largely contain sweeping allegations that were unsubstantiated. Now, is this a cause for a concern when a political party makes these startling claims and then there is no proof or evidence?
Look, there's an old saying that's a little bit rude that says, you know, with election rigging claims, you know, you must put up or shut up. And it captures the idea that for any legal process, but particularly with elections, we need the law to be applied correctly, and we need enough evidence of the claims. And it is unfortunate in this case for a particular party, and I make no comment on the party or any of the politics involved, but it is unfortunate when there's no real connection between some of those problems, which may well be real problems, and the idea that the whole election was flawed. Because the effect is that voters might think, oh, vaguely that there's something wrong. And, you know, a court dismissal months later maybe won't satisfy a lot of people. So, yes, I agree. It is a problem if parties do not do their homework in these cases.
Michael, final question. How do we differentiate between irregularities and vote rigging? So things have happened that maybe should not have occurred during the course of the election, but aren't actually termed rigging?
But that is an excellent question. So there is a case in KZN at the moment where an electoral official was found to be driving election materials, and the law says that he must be accompanied by SAPs, and this particular person wasn't. Now, that is an irregularity. There were numerous instances where those voter management devices weren't functioning well, and perhaps that is tied to some of the long queues that we experienced. You know, that might be described as an irregularity. There are errors in certain results, that even the ones that are published, and again, an irregularity. Rigging is a systematic pattern of action which has the impact or possibility of changing a whole result. It could be several seat allocations. It isn't necessarily which party had the most, but even changing multiple seats would constitute rigging. But it has to be an organized and systematic effort. And we've had a lot of this term thrown around, but no real evidence of that, although, yes, there are some irregularities.
Elections analyst Michael Atkins, appreciate your time, always giving clarity to many of the conversations that we have here on Newzroom Afrika.